Hey everybody, I'm your host, Strategic Jordan, and we're at Chapter 4. Oh my god, we got so long to go. Oh, I wonder if I should just listen to the audiobook version. We might give that a try for next version, see how the audiobook thing on YouTube goes. It's a learning experience. We'll see what works and what don't work. Chapter 4, Perspective. I don't know why it took an interest in you, but I'd be careful. It never helped anyone before. Stupid! A blast of lightning fired past me, shattering an old clock at the back of the overview office I was cowering in. The Wasteland Survival Guide was full of all sorts of helpful tips. Scavenging guides, a whole chapter on mines, and more. And then there were the not-so-helpful ones. After having read the chapter on making pre-war... That was fast. Usually it takes a couple, like, 30 minutes for that to show up. Making pre-war Earth Pony technology work for you. That is foreshadowing. I've read a lot of fanfiction. That's foreshadowing right there. And my first thought when I came across the ruins of an iron-shod firearms was to take a peek inside and see if there was any technology I could make work for me. Oh, so you did try to make it to use immediately. Said I got myself trapped in a maze of pony-sidle robots and automated turrets. Fleeing until I managed to back myself into a corner here in an office box high above the factory floor, almost out of ammo. You're out of ammo again. As if I hadn't found the medical box in the employee bathroom, I would have died trying to get across the second floor. Why are there medical boxes in the bathrooms? Seems like a weird place to put them to me. How could I have possibly been so very stupid? Below, 3 of those robots were rolling about looking for me. They were tracking things, built to somewhat resemble ponies, with clear dome heads that housed real brains. I refused to think about the ponies who built that might have used other ponies' brains in the construction. The thought was too horrible. Even doing that to an animal's brain was awful, and clearly 200 years of continuous operation had done nothing for their sanity. I can't do a robot voice. Come on out. We only want to kill you for trespassing. I almost did the Raider voice, but somehow Pinkie Pie wormed it into there. Oh, Pinkie Pie the Raider. Not good. Not good. Case in point, the fact that the voice sounded like a young... Oh. I was wrong. The fact that the voice sounded like a young filly, despite being clearly artificial, just made it that much freakier. Fortunately, the railing on the catwalks leading up to the office is too narrow for the brain bots to get up there. A much deeper, authoritative voice boomed across the room. Surrender in the name of the Ministry of Technology, zebra scum! I cringed at the line of metal filing cabinets as the room filled with a rush of flame. Gee, a little overboard, don't you think there, Twilight? Unfortunately, the same could not be said for the other type of guard robot I crossed paths with in here. The multi-limbed thing looked like a giant metal spider. Many of its arms seemed to end in weapons, including a buzzsaw and a flamethrower. And worse, the damn things could fly! I slipped both my grenades out of my saddlebag and waited until the flames died away. The metal cabinets were beginning to get unpleasantly warm against my back, and the heat in the air seared my lungs. The second the flamethrower went off, I turned my head around the corner and levitated them both right up to the metal monster, pulling out the stems on the way. The moment it saw me, the robot raised a pulsating green weapon that looked like a unicorn's horn. Eldritch fire erupted from it, shooting past me close enough to singe my cheeks. The The blast struck an old fan sitting on the desk behind me. It glowed green for a moment, then melted. I ducked back and dropped the grenades. The explosion rocked the office. I heard a fearsome twang as part of the catwalk outside gave. Looking back, the robot was in a non-functional heap. The walkway outside was still mostly intact, but sagging badly. I wasn't sure it could hold my weight. Okay, timer's still working. Stripping what I could from the fallen spider-bot, I considered my options. I couldn't stay up here forever. If I moved very fast, I could run the walkway without the robot bots below getting me. The weapons did not seem very accurate, but the first few yards of the catwalk were practically torn free and sagging alarmingly. The more I looked at it, the less I wanted to put a hoof on it. I never tried levitating myself before. In theory, it should work, but I've never seen a pony do it. Focusing, I tried. I could feel the glow from my horn stretch out to envelop my entire body. Brighter, it glowed as I tried to lift myself. I was shining like a dozen lanterns when I felt my body lift, just slightly, from the ground. I was sweating. This was as far as I could go, but I was doing it. Now one step forward, and another, and another. I was halfway across when the brain bot started firing in my general direction. One of the bolts struck the catwalk, arcing along it. I felt very lucky I wasn't actually touching it, but I was almost spent. Ahead of me, the catwalk stopped right before a huge window that let 12 twice filtered sunlight, once by the clouds and once by the dirty glass itself, into the factory floor, supplementing the light from the heavy fixtures hanging above. The catwalk shot off in both directions, running parallel to the wall. One was in the direction I had come from. The other led to a door that had been locked. Only the door hadn't a lock to pick. Instead, it could only be opened by a command from a terminal. Another shot of lightning missed cleanly, shooting through one of the shattered windows of the observation office and frying the terminal I had just used not 5 minutes ago to unlock the door. We missed some stuff here, I feel. Well, I feel like we missed some XP opportunities. There was a lot of metal catwalk, and the damn bots beneath me shot lightning. I grunted with the effort that kept me afloat. Why can't I talk? Feeling my vision darken at the edges, I had to stop or I'd pass out, and that would have been the end of me. Releasing the magic, I dropped on the catwalk. I wavered, but held. I let go of a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Started to gallop. Don't run! We only want to be your friend! More blasts. I tensed, expecting to feel paralyzing electricity rip up my body, starting at my hooves. Instead, I heard a crash of a loud pop and a twang from somewhere above. I looked up as I ran. Saw one of the bolts had hit the hanging lamp above, causing its softly buzzing light to explode. And that, freakishly, was the last straw. It snapped loose from the badly aged, creaking ceiling above and swung down, crashing into the catwalk behind me. The whole walkway shook, and then the section behind me tore away with a rending scream of abused metal. Oh, fuck me with Celestia's forehooves. Oh, that's her. God, that it's been used for the robot voices. I thought it was them. Okay, so it's Lil Pip talking. So fuck me with Celestia's forehooves. I'll admit, my repertoire of colorful descriptions had grown more profane from my experience with the Raiders. But as I galloped down the walkways of heart-tearing speed, I'm getting tired. It is midnight, but I'm a night owl, so it's really fine. Heart-tearing speed, trying to keep ahead, the sections of catwalk began to fall down to factory floor like a thunderous, lethal game of dominoes. I felt the sentiment entirely appropriate. I I thought this was the robots talking. Oh, I had the little Philly voice prepared. Damn. I was almost to the door when the metal walkway dropped out from under me. I threw myself forward, carried only by momentum, and caught the final section with my forelegs. I hung there, my hind hooves dangling for several stories over an 8. Oh God. Why am I tired? I usually stay up all night and go to bed like 4 in the morning. Ugh. I hung there, my hind hooves dangling several stories above an ancient rifle assembly line that had been crushed by a fallen catwalk. That sucks. You know how repair pony technology, you could take it over, become a wasteland power. She could become like the gun runners, guys. That would have been cool. Little Pip, the founder of the gun runners. Oh, that would have been awesome. I struggled, trying to inch myself up. I used my magic to try and tug on my saddlebags and drag myself forward. My heart was pounding. I fought to keep vision from falling from dominating my imagination. Tried not to think of my back breaking as I landed upon the conveyor belt below. At least the damned brain bots weren't shooting me anymore. Having scurried for cover, it seemed to take forever, but inch by inch I pulled myself onto that final section of catwalk. It wobbled threateningly beneath me, sticking out from the wall like a diving board. Held in by... I'm not actually tired. I'm not. So... K-Cat, your story's not boring. I promise it's not. Don't take it out on me. Where are we? Cautiously, I got my hooves under me and stepped lightly towards the door. A blast of lightning hit the catwalk, shooting at my legs, sending me into painful convulsions. I collapsed, shaking on the walkway, my mane and tail hair standing on edge. The walkway responded with a metallic cry, tilting several inches, threatening to dump me into the gulf below. I struggled, shakily to my feet. Another blast shot up from almost directly beneath me, missing the catwalk by less than a foot, and striking the ceiling above. The bits of Sin's plaster rained down. I gave the door a push, and was visibly relieved when it swung open. The catwalk gave further. I lurched, wrapped my forelegs around the door frame to keep from sliding on the now quite steep metal platform. A third electrical blast ripped through the air, striking another strip of the industrial lighting, whose light also exploded, managing to swing precariously. Precariously? You mean precariously? I don't know. Grunting, I pulled myself into the room. Oh, I just looked at the sidebar. It's going to be a long chapter. I turned and sat in the doorway, looking down at the brain bots rolling in circles directly below, trying to figure out how to get me. Then, with a strong kick of my forehooves, I knocked the last of the catwalk loose. It fell, scraping down the wall until it smashed through the robot's brain case, pulping the organ inside, continuing down, ripping the machine through in half. I must admit, I found the crunch immensely satisfying. I realized that if the room I had successfully access to had greater personal risk, had such great personal risk, had not offered any other way out, I would have been in deep trouble. Closing the door behind me, I felt immediately more comfortable. The room had been painted in what had once been a bright orange, and the paint had not lost all its warmth over time. The wood paneling probably brought a pleasant, homely feel to what I believed was clearly the factory overmayor's office. Now the wood was rotten and crumbling. On the back wall of the desk was an oversized logo in deeply tarnished bronze. Iron-shod firearms. How you like them apples? I didn't get it. And that's all time we got for this video. We'll pick it right up as soon as I save the current video. And I got some of my water. So we'll see you very soon, everybody. Okay, Cat, why you gotta make these chapters so long?